Today's session will be learning about query. I hope you all are aware about transactions as we have discussed in our previous classes or previous sessions. So what is a query? So we can say query is simply a request for information made by end users of application through an interface, and it is usually processed by a full node or through its RPC, what we do. And when a query is received by a full node, its consensus engine, and then it is relayed to the application via the ABCI, and it is then routed to the appropriate module via base app and then query routers. We will be learning about query routers as well, and so that it can be processed via modules query, and we have inbuilt functions. We'll be defining in functions how we are creating functions for query, CLI, everything we'll be discussing today. How to create query, its function, its RPC, and everything. So we will be creating gRPC queries. So it is created using protobuf queries, protobuf services. So it's defined in our proto. And then when we go into NFT, we can see query.proto. I guess it's already been created by Chandragupta. So we can move ahead. We have all the services created: service query for collection, denoms, NFT, owner NFTs, then supply. Then we have all the messages for request and what we are getting in response. Similarly for denom response, everything is well defined here. So we don't need to do much here. And also API is also defined here. So we can query it by through our RPCs and node RPCs and points. So everything is well defined here. So we'll directly go to our module, NFT module, and see what all things are defined. When I go into client, I see query.go. So here we have to create our own query functions, Cobra commands, through which we can query the state or any information through our chains modules, specific modules. Similarly, what we have for transactions, similarly, we can create functions for our query right here, and then it will be queried through the means the it will be passed to the query router, and then we can query the state of that particular module and information, other informations. So for creating query, what we can do is we can see what all messages, all getter messages are well defined here. So when we go into keeper, we can see here we have created denom, update denom, transfer denom. We need to see all the getter functions where, okay. So we have get NFT one, and another one is get NFTs. We have get owner NFTs. Everything is well defined here. So right now, instead of creating all the queries, what we can do, we can create two queries of get one for get NFT and one for get owner NFTs. So how we will proceed is we'll first see in the module.go and see if it is registered or not. So it is registered as a service, query service, and register services function, register invariants. We have register routes. Okay, register gRPC, query handler, register service. Okay, it's already defined register gRPC gateway routes. It's already defined register query handler client. So we don't have to do anything here. Right now, what we can do, we can simply jump into our query.go and start defining the functions. So for creating functions, what we can do, we can create a function. Let me we have a tough way to do things and an easy way to do things. So the easy way is to simply go and copy other queries and just tweak its functions and write our own custom messages and get our work done. And alternatively, what we can do, we can create the function from scratch and understand things, but I don't think we have that much of time. So what we'll do, I'll just go to any other module. For example, I'm going to Vault module, and in client, if I see query.go, we have query vault. Okay, we'll just go into that function. We'll just copy this particular function and how its structure, how it's written, and simply go and copy paste here. So what I want my name to be query NFTs. Okay, query NFT, only NFT, not NFTs. So we will have NFT. And for NFT, when we have created our proto, we need to see like what all things, parameters we are defining in for our NFT. So if I go to NFT query NFT request, in query NFT request, we have denom ID and NFT ID. These two things are defined here. So a user, when querying a particular NFT, will give its denom ID and its NFT ID, both in string. So I need to take in two parameters. First one will be denom ID. I'll just update it. Denom ID. And second one will be simply NFT ID or ID, whatever you can say. Query NFT, but by denom ID, denom ID and NFT ID. Sorry, we should keep it same. Okay. Query NFT by denom ID and NFT ID. Okay. Then it's done. So here so earlier in transactions, we have already understood how we are passing in arguments and taking in arguments. So we do not need to pass it into any event. So what I'll do, I'll just clear it. First thing is denom ID. I'll define my denom ID. Args 0 and then my NFT ID. Sorry. Okay. Query client types new query client response. Okay. For response, what we need to do, it's not query vault, it's an FT, what we have already defined. And it's not query vault request. Type start query NFT request. And in denom ID, what we have as denom ID. And in NFT ID, we have NFT ID. Sorry, done. And add queries, CMD, fab, CMD, everything is well defined here. So our query NFT is created right now here. Okay, what I'll do, I'll just add that command over here. So my query NFT command is registered here, but how it will work or how it will function. So for that thing, when we go into keeper, we don't see any query server. We have message server, but we don't see any query server. So what I'll do, I'll create a new Go file named grpc or simply query server. Query server dot go. Okay, I'm adding it. So my query server is created under the package keeper. So what I'll do, I'll just create a variable, empty variable of types dot query server. It will be defined as keeper. Sorry, we need to pass in reference of keeper. Okay, done. And here we need to import the types. We have this NFT. Where is NFT? Okay, NFT types. Done. It's what's the issue here? Okay, we need to define all the functions that are being called here. So also we'll create a struct of type keeper of type query server. type query server. Oh, and here we have our keeper. It's done. So again, we need to define all the functions. So right now we can see some methods are missing. What methods are missing? Only the things which we have defined and not written till now. So what we can do, we can simply implement all those methods. So it's implemented here, but in keeper.go, but we don't want it there. So simply what we'll do, we'll just copy, cut it and paste it over here in query server. Now, if we see, just need to import context. What we can do, simply import it from here, context. Okay, imported. Done. So right now we see we have our new functions, collection, denoms, NFT, everything, owner NFTs, supplies, everything is created, how it's created, and from where it is created. It's created from our proto. In proto, we have these 6 functions. The first one is collection, denoms, NFT, owner NFTs, and supplies. That all 6 functions are being called here as well. So what we are doing, we are just calling all these functions, and through these functions, what we'll do, we will actually call the keeper or keeper functions, or what we can say getter functions for NFT. For example, we have our getter function for NFT defined here. Get NFT. Also for get owner NFT, we have a function defined here. So what we'll do, when the flow of the like context goes through, when we are querying the keeper and the flow goes through that particular CLI and through the query server, when it is called in this particular collection or this particular NFT function, then here what we'll do, we'll define our own getter function and we'll be returning NFT response. We'll be getting request as in type of NFT request that gives us the denom ID and ID. And through that denom ID and ID, what we'll be doing, we'll be calling this particular functions get NFT to have our NFT type queried. It's of exported NFT. So what we'll do, just create our query server.go. So we'll start with NFT. Okay. So here we have context. I'm just renaming it for the convention sake. CTX. We need to actually unwrap the context, SDK context. SDK dot unwrap as context, and here it takes an CTX context dot context. So our context is well defined here. Now what I'll do, I'll just go to the get NFT function and just query it, call it here. What we can do, NFT slash error equals to k dot get NFT, and we can pass in context denom ID can be called through this request. What I'll do, I'll just short it, request dot denom ID and then request dot ID. Finally, this function is calling calling NFT of type exported NFT here and returning error as well if there are any error. Okay, so we are handling error if error not equals to nil. Okay, means we are getting some error. So what I'll do, will not return any response. So what we'll do, we'll return nil, and the error we are getting here will simply return that error. Now it is of exported type. So what we have to do, we have to create another variable of NFT and OK type. It's basically true or false. So it will be of NFT dot types dot NFT. So what we are doing here, we are just calling the exported types here so that we don't have any problem. If not okay, same as error, if error not equals to nil, if it's not okay, then we can have our own return, custom return nil slash error, but we can't use this error. So what we'll do, we'll have our own custom error defined here, SDK errors dot wrap. So it takes an error. So we have some error defined, error invalid NFT. Okay, invalid NFT, yes. Invalid NFT, and we can define our own message here, additional message invalid NFT for denom ID string for we have for this particular NFT ID and NFT ID. And we here we can define in the variables request dot denom ID and request dot NFT ID or simply ID it was there. So everything is done here, NFT. Now what we'll do, I'll simply return it. Return nil error. So we don't have to return nil because we already have defined our NFT. So what we'll do, we'll call the reference of types dot query NFT response. And here we have NFT as of NFT. It's well defined here. We are returning NFT and the error if there are any error or anything is there. But right now we don't have any error because we are already returning it. So what I'll do, I'll just simply return nil here because we are getting in the response of NFT, everything is there. So I'll return nil here. So this is how we create our first query NFT, and then it will call the get NFT functions, which is already well defined there. And through that, it will be calling in this particular function. Sorry, here it is nft.go get NFT. And from here, it will query in the store if for that particular denom ID and NFT ID, we are having in any particular NFT or not. If it's there, we'll return the NFT and marshal it and we'll show to the user. So I hope that's clear. For others, what we can do, we can simply return nil nil and remove the panic thing. So yeah, it's done. If we go back to query again, we see our query is also a well-defined query NFT. What we can do, we can create one more query quickly. Simply copy paste it. And what we want to create this query for, we go to NFT, that's get owners NFTs. Okay, so we'll just copy paste this name and query NFTs. We'll define it here. And now I'll update the CLI function here. Owner NFT. Now, if we go to this query proto and for owner NFT, if we go in owner NFT request, it's taking denom ID and the owner of that particular NFT or that particular for that particular denom ID. So we go back again into query.co denom ID, and the second one is address. Is it okay? Denom ID, address or owner, what we can say. Owner. Okay. Query NFI, and if not NFI, now it's owner. It's done. Everything is done. Denom ID and the pin ID. It's not NFT ID. It's now owner. Owner is our arguments one, and here owner NFTs, simply update it. Query owner NFTs request. We have denom ID as denom ID. No change in that, and owner as owner. So the owner NFT part is also done, and it's also well defined here. Simply what we'll do, we'll go to query server again, and for owner NFT, we'll simply create that function. When we go into nft.go, we have to query this particular function. It's not of exported types, it's of types.nft, so we'll call it directly get owner NFTs. We can do it pretty quick also. Okay. Simply we need the CTX context over here as well. See, and also request. Okay. Now our own NFTs slash error equals to k dot owner NFTs. No, sorry. Let me see. NFT.go get owner NFT, sorry. And it's not returning any error also. Okay, we don't need this error. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah. The context here. What is denom request dot denom. It should be denom. Then here we have owner request dot owner. It's done. Now what we'll do is simply return it. No checks needed. Okay, we already have our own return statement. Types dot owner as NFT's response. Sorry. We have this types dot owner NFT response, and what we can do, owner actions. Owner will be our request dot owner, and if we go into collections, let me see what is collection owner NFT collections. Okay, and get owner NFT, what it returns types.nft, and owner NFT collections, what is then our NFTs. Okay, we need to define owner NFTs. Okay, so here we can't directly call it. Okay, so you are seeing right here we have to define owner NFT collections. Var owner NFTs collection types at NFT collection, and it will be of repeated type, repeated or So we have created our own NFT collection. We need to append it here. And in NFT collection, what do we have? We have this thing called for particular denom and NFT. Okay. So I think it shouldn't be repeated over here for owner NFT collection if we are passing in and getting for that particular denom ID. So we need to update the proto over there. And if we go to into proto and query owner NFT response, it shouldn't be repeated here. Should be only query owner NFT collection. Okay. So if we go into query owner NFT collection, we can see for that particular denom what NFTs we are having. So we need to define only that thing for particular and or denom ID, and for that particular owner, how many NFTs we are having, we can simply show that. So it will be types. Also, we need to remove this repeated thing. Types dot, sorry, double P. It's NFT collection. We are filling in all fields here. NFTs. So our NFTs are owner NFTs, and then okay, where it's okay. We need to pass in there. Okay, it's we need to pass in one more parameter. We will be doing that also. We haven't updated our photo as well. So what we will do, we'll define the denom, and it's types dot denom. Okay, it's so we need to get the denom also. We can't simply put that particular denom. Okay, so if we go and see if we have good denom or not. No, I don't think it's created right now. So for right now, what we can see, what we can do is keep it just like this. And here we have our own and owner NFTs. Just so for that, what we can do, we can keep it empty right now. We need to create one more function. But right now, what my meaning was to show you how to create this particular thing. So for that particular owner NFTs, it's showing that type NFT. Okay. So how can we fix it? If we go to query.photo, we have to create, okay, go nullable false. Okay, what we have done, we haven't updated this thing. We have just removed it. So what we'll do, we'll just call our script or prototype. Okay, we need to remove that buff thing. In scripts, we go to protogen.sh. We need to remove that particular buff thing. Okay, and we'll call the scripts again. Done. Warning, no error. It's done. So now if we go back to query.server, we see it's on NFT collection, it's only NFT. Get owner NFTs. Okay, let me see. Why it's returning tiger NFT. Don't see any point of doing that here. We have just updated it. And if we go, the error is resolved. Our query owner, we see we have our query owner collections. We can simply copy and paste it over here, and everything is done. So this is how we can create our own query and query our own state, which we have defined in our Kiwi store. And this is how it's all done. I think that's it for that query and transactions. In the upcoming sessions, we'll be learning more about handlers and upgrade. So that's it for today.